solving inequalities. So mainly we need to be able to graph them and do simple one-step baby equations. So we are going to solve and graph inequalities today.
So no big kahunas?
No big kahunas. We're solving and graphing inequalities. Let's do graphing the inequalities first. Now we're going to do it in one dimension for now. We'll get to 2 dimensions later. So we're basically going to have a number line. We may or may not start at 0. For my example, I'll go ahead and start at 0. Now remember 1, 2, 3, and then going back, -1, -2, -3. And let's say I want to graph x is less than 2. So I want all the numbers that are smaller than 2. Now notice it can't be equal to 2. It has to be less than 2. So we're going to use an open circle. Trey's very excited. He remembered this. So we're going to use an open circle. So we're going to put an open circle over the 2. You can put it on top of the 2 when you're doing your homework. I just put it over the 2 because I'm giving you notes. And then I want all the numbers that are smaller than 2. Notice if you have it in this order with the x on the left, you can just draw your arrow in the way that that's pointed. And that means less than. You with me? Pretty easy, right? If I wanted to graph x is greater than or equal to, say, -1. This time, yes, it can be equal. So we'll use a closed circle. So we start our number line. And I don't need you when you're doing this to give me a bunch of numbers, just enough that you get the point across that you know how to count. So this time I'll put my circle above -1, I'll fill it in, and notice it's greater than, notice which way, I go to the right. All these numbers are bigger than -1. Does that make sense? Any questions on how to graph them? We are going to do a couple more examples, like the trick ones that you'll have to be able to do. But basically, you have to first determine if you're going to open or close your circle, and then you determine which way to go. So let's get down these. This is greater than. This one's greater than or equal to. This is less than. This one's less than or equal to. There are a couple others, but these are the main ones that you need to be aware of.
Who's this?
That one's married.
Never seen one favorite.
She has a little thingy. She has
It's
like a bullet.
Okay.
Get married.
So here are some tricks. Maybe I have 15 is greater than x, and I'm supposed to graph that. So I start with my number line. I'll just put my 15 here. Here's 16, and to the left of 15 is 14. What I'm going to want to do is I want the variable on the left. This one is not on the left, so we are going to flip the whole thing. flip the whole thing. So I'm going to put x on the left, 15 on the right. Notice this is pointing to the x, so it's still going to point to the x. So I have an open circle at 15, but now I see x is going less than, so that's the way it should go. So this one, I have my negative 24, so I go ahead and draw my negative 24. What's to the right of negative 24?
Negative 23.
Negative 23, and to the left?
Negative 21.
Okay, open or close circle?
Close.
Yeah.
Closed circle, and I need to go, well, I need to flip this around. So I flip, x on the left, negative 24 on the right. It's pointing towards the 24, so it needs to still point to the 24. And I go to the left.
Oh.
Oh, wait. No, I go to the right.
Welcome.
Go to the right. Because it's bigger.
I'm telling you.
Because it's greater than.
Straight up simple math. Come on.
Okay. Any questions on graphing? Because I'm going to move on now to solving.
No.
Okay, so we are very happy. Yay! Something easy for once in math class.
God knows.
He has an antenna. This is an alien. Call this Trey. That's terrible. Okay. Okay, well, we have to give her credit for that one. Okay, so solving one-step inequalities.
Good job, King. Good one.
Solving one-step inequalities. Trey, get your notes down.
I am.
All right, so let's do a test. Let's say I have 5 is less than 6. That's true, right? Can I add something to both sides? Let's see. 6 is less than 7. Yes, I can do that. All right, let's start with the same thing. Maybe I can subtract the same thing to both sides. 4 is less than 5. Yeah, that works, so I can do that. Let's see. 5 is less than 6. Maybe times 2. Let's try times 2. 10 is less than 12. Yeah, I can do that. But wait a minute, I did positive and negative, so over here I'll try negative. Let's try negative. Negative 2 times negative 2. Well, this is negative 10. Oof. Is negative 10 less than negative 12?
No.
And no. So I can't do that. Well, I can, but I need to switch the sign. Or switch the inequality, rather. So instead of it being less than, I do negative 10 is greater than negative 12. So that brings us to our rule. And it's basically, we solve just like equalities.
Equality?
Yep. We solve just like equalities. Except if we multiply or divide by a negative, we need to flip the inequality. Now, it doesn't matter if the answer is negative or not. It just matters, did I multiply or divide by a negative? Did I multiply or divide? Yeah. That's the Kingbot 3000.
Trash.
I'm going to train it to attack Trey.
Yes.
It's going to be the Trey Destroyer. Okay. I'll use sonar to find it. Be easy. All right. Anyways, I'm kidding. All right. So let's say I had x plus 6 is less than 2. If this were an equality, how would I solve it?
You don't.
Minus the 6 on the other side.
Yep. So we subtract 6, we do the same thing. And x is less than -1. Notice I did not flip that around because I did not multiply or divide by a negative. That's my answer. I'm done. Okay. What if I had 5x is greater than or equal to 20?
You divide 5.
Divide by 5. And x is greater than or equal to 4. Well, maybe I have something like this. 10 is less than 6 minus 2x. This is kind of a big kahuna. Yep, we'll subtract 6. So what do we get on the left? Is less than. Okay, now what do we do? Divide by -2, and here's where we divided by a negative, so flip. Now what am I flipping? I'm flipping this, right? I'm flipping my inequality. So I get -2 is not less than, it's greater than x. Now, I'm going to do one more thing, variable on the left. So x, -2, and it needs to point to, and this is my answer. We want our variables on the left. That's so that we graph them correctly.
Hey, I'm bad at
Why are you bad at this? Don't be bad, be glad.
Oh my god.
It's gonna be hard.
Okay, so first thing I did is I divided by a negative. When we divide or multiply by a negative, we switch this. Okay, so I did that. And then, it was basically solved, but at that step we want the variable on the left, so I put the variable on the left, the -2 on the other side, pointing in towards the x. Alright. I want you to solve each of these in your notes. Go ahead and try each of those. Where's my coffee? Could you bring me my coffee cup? Since you're over there already.
You don't have to do
He gets cranky when all this coffee.
I tell you no things from
My sippy cup's in my car.
Where are you trying
Hey. Is she picking on me?
Yeah.
No.
Who doesn't pick on you?
Clear the fraction.
Yes.
I don't like to practice.
You see, no one likes
That's why you clear them, so that they go bye-bye.
Oh, that was no.
Fraction.
that.
Oh god.
Okay, what do we do on the first one, Austin?
I'm asking you. You divide it
By
3.
3.
Yeah.
Mr. K, my answer is negative, so I flip it, right?
No.
I did not multiply or divide by a negative. Okay, I'll let you work on the next one.
I sort of bad algebra. Giant stuff.
That's me, I can tell by the shape of the face. Oh, that. Oh, that's a Dylan. Oof.
What's up, Mr. Green?
No, that's a Dylan. That's just a Dylan right there.
Yeah, that don't do it.
Oh, that's a Dylan? Dylan. Definitely Dylan.
It's painful to be an artist.
I know, I missed my true calling in life.
Very poor. What the frig is
I
that?
was about to say
That's
it.
It's called.
That's the worst worst drawing ever. That's terrible.
It's called abstract.
Reject. All right, this one. What do we? What do we do?
It's called abstract art. You know what I'm saying?
Destroy with fire.
We multiply both sides by what?
24. I made it 24.
25.
Okay, so 24 cancels with 3, leaves in
8.
8 times negative 5 is
40.
negative 40. X is less than equal to. 24 cancels with 8, leaves a 3. So I get negative 27. Now what do I do?
Divide.
So I get negative 27 divided by negative 40, which negative divided negative is simply
Positive.
okay, so I don't need that negative. I divided by a negative though,
Is. Yeah.
so I flip.
That way.
That way.
What do we do on this next one?
Use divide. I meant to yeah.
Multiply by 3.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Okay, so what do we get on the left?
12. Hey.
What?
4x. The 3's cancel. Greater than equal to.
3.
Now we
Divide.
by
4.
we get 3/4. Last one, Meredith. What should we do?
You divide by 3. And you get 6.
Now what do we do?
You flip the side.
We flip it around so that x is on the left. We always want our variable on the left.
Why did you put a plus 3x? Why didn't you just put 3x?
I was going to write a negative, but then I changed my mind at the last minute.
Awesome.
Do that on test ones.
You take a nap.
Oh. What? No nap.
Good name. I know.
All right.
No.
You're right there? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a turnip, a little, I'm ready to be harvested.
Only in this class do people harvest their hair for turnips.
Hey, my hair is
That's
perfect.
my favorite. It's like
Yeah.
My hair is
Like a perfect helmet.
No, my hair is perfect.
All right. What do we do first on this one?
every number.
It can't get messed up
Yeah.
unless I wake up. Here it is.
And then
Divide by 2.
Which will give you.
Oh, you just keep the improper fraction?
Y'all already saw it.
I didn't.
this one.
No. Oh, okay, yeah, you can start.
You subtract 6. No, you get rid of the fraction. I'm just kidding.
Well, we could subtract that 5.
Okay, never mind.
Let's subtract that 5. Get 2. Now what?
You multiply by 2.
Yep, multiply by 2. These 2's cancel, so I get negative 3x is less than.
Or,
Do I need to flip this inequality?
you know, yes, you do.
I will. After I divide by this negative 3. Whenever you multiply, and move your negative up to the top. And wrap up the last one. And then grab a whiteboard and marker after I go over it.
Stand up.
What do we multiply by?
5.
5.
2, 1.
Work out. Flashlight.
And then
Oh, that's a 2?
add a 2.
Yeah.
Wait, why didn't you? Why wouldn't it be 5x minus 10?
That's that kind of hair.
Okay,
Me.
now get a whiteboard and marker.
No. Can you
You want to be
explain?
robot?
The 5 cancel.
Mr. Kane, your robot's on top of
You're talking about right here.
Just move it.
Do you want to kiss?